It is INDYCAR race weekend at the Thermal Club. And where can you watch it this weekend? 3 p.m. Fox, the main networks of Fox. Everything between practice 1, 2, qualifying, and warm-up will be on FS1. But the main race weekend, if you can't watch anything, watch the race. It's at Fox on 3 p.m. That's where the money's at. What will we be doing in this preview video? I'm going to break down each team and driver and what they can be expecting this weekend. And at the end of the video, I'll give my top 3 in qualifying and in the race. So with that being said, let's dive straight into this with last week's race winners and went 1-2 Ganassi. Alex Palou, we'll start with Alex Palou, is a 2-1 odds-on favorite. So basically, if you put money on Alex Palou, you're basically losing money. So if you bet on these things, definitely don't bet Alex Palou. Bet like a Scott Dixon or Joseph Newgarden or Colin Hurta, someone like that. Alex Palou dominated last year here, and honestly, I would not be surprised if it's not the same result in Alex Palou domination weekend. Palou just needs to stay in that top 3, top 5, and just get points for his championship. And really, same goes for Scott Dixon. As long as Dixon's in the top 5, that's a good day for him. Kevin Simpson, honestly, I think he showed a lot of pace last weekend at the Thermal Club, and if he can just build on that and maybe get a top 15 result, I think that's a pretty good weekend from Kiffin. Now let's go to the other big dog team in the paddock, Team Penske. I wouldn't say it was a struggle here last year. I mean, they were pretty quick with Scott McLaughlin, but it wasn't their best track, obviously. Really, Will Power needs to have a clean weekend. He needs to keep it clean, keep it out of the wall, qualify in that top 12, and really stay in that top 12 to top 10 all day, get some points on the board. If you're Will Power, that's what you're looking to do. Joseph Newgarden wants to build on that P3, so if he can get another podium, that'd be great, but ultimately, just the top 5 is what he needs for his championship. Scotty Mack was very, very fast in St. Pete, just needs to show that level of same speed, and he'll be in the top 5 too. Just build points. That's what this season's all about, really, and you're going to hear me say that a lot in this video. In fact, it's going to probably be the theme of this video, me just saying build, build, build points. Andretti Autosports or Andretti Global, if you're Colton Hurta, you should have won last weekend in St. Pete. We don't really know what his pace was last year because of that weird strategy that they did, so no one really knows how fast Colton Hurta will be, or really the Andretti's. They shocked me in how fast they were last week. Hurta just needs to be in the top 10, build points for the championship. If the top 5 is there, go for it. And I think same goes for Kyle Kirkwood and Marcus Ericsson. Actually, all the Andretti's need to have the same weekend. Just be in the top 10. If the opportunity comes to you in the race, you go for it. That if you're Hurta, Ericsson, or Kirkwood, Hurta, Ericsson, and Kirkwood. Sorry, I thought I said the same name twice. You just need to be in the top 10 all day, and if the race comes to you, it comes to you, and you go for it. If you're Andretti, that's what you need. Just 3 cars in the top 10. If the race comes to you, it comes to you. McLaren, Pato O'Ward needs to qualify better. He cannot qualify 23rd again. He said in his, I think it was his, I don't know if it was his YouTube vlog or if it was something McLaren posted, but he said if P11's our worst result by the end of the season, we'll be in good shape. I completely agree with that. So if you're Pato O'Ward, just be 11th or better. If you're him, he's looking for probably a top 5 result here to get some good points on the board. And I think same goes for Christian Lundgaard. I think Pato and Christian Lundgaard, I think a good expectation would be both be in the top 5. I think that's very realistic for them. And for Nolan Siegel, this is his first track that he raced at last year that he's returning to this year. And he's got this great opportunity with McLaren. So if he just needs to build on St. Pete, he showed good pace. He needs to not get taken out in the first lap. That was not his fault. So hopefully he can get a clean first lap and show his pace. So really, Christian and Pato will probably be aiming for the top 5, and Nolan needs to show his pace, and if he gets a top 10, I would say that's a win for Nolan Siegel at the end of the day. Let's go with Rahal Letterman Lanigan racing next. If you're Devlin DeFrancesco, he actually had a quietly good weekend last race in St. Pete. So if he could just build on that and maybe make some more noise, I think that's a good weekend from Devlin. Graham just needs to keep being the team leader, have a good weekend, probably needs to qualify the highest out of all of them, and just be there when it counts. Louis Foster, he is a rookie. We know that. He really, really kind of struggled last weekend. I mean, he didn't really struggle. He kind of struggled in qualifying a bit, but he also impressed me, and then he got taken out in the first lap in the race. So I don't really know where to judge Louis. He just needs a clean weekend, no contact, gets to run the whole race. If you're Louis Foster, that's what you're hoping for. Let's go to AJ Foyt Racing next. You have David Malukas and Santino Ferrucci. I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, they were 13th and 14th, or they were 12th and 13th. I completely forget. I should have had that written down. I just know it's one or the other. You just want to get 2 cars on the edge of the top 10, if not in, or one of them in the top 10. Just a clean weekend from both David Malukas and Santino Ferrucci, and 2 cars in the top 15, if not in the top 10. That's a good day for AJ Foyt, and I think they're very capable of a result like that. Let's go to Meyer Shank next. It's the same thing. Meyer Shank has every problem. They're going to be fast in qualifying with Rosenqvist and with Armstrong. Both those guys are going to be super fast and super competitive in qualifying, and you could see both in the Firestone Fast 6. But until proven otherwise, they are not good at race pace. Marcus Armstrong had problems last weekend, had to retire, and Rosenqvist dropped like a rock. So if you're either one of them, it's qualify well and stay there. And until proven otherwise, Meyer Shank is not capable of that. So they got to prove to us this year, and I think it really needs to start this weekend, that they can qualify well and stick there. Because if it keeps happening, I've given up on Meyer Shank, and they're a qualifying-only team, not a race team. If results like this keep happening, you can't sink, especially for Felix Rosenqvist. He's your lead driver. Felix, you really need to be wherever you qualify. I think a good goal for Felix is if he qualifies 7th, stay 7th. If you're Marcus Armstrong and you qualify 10th, stay 10th. Or better. I think if you're Meyer Shank, that's a great goal heading into this weekend. Ed Carpenter Racing, Alexander Rossi, got a top 10 with them on debut. Just get another top 10. Really just get points and momentum going on your side. If you're Christian Rasmussen, get your season going. St. Pete wasn't as what he wanted it to be. Start off your season in Thermal. That's all I got to say. Get a big result on the board if you're Christian Lundgaard. And if you're Rossi, just keep that momentum going. Del Coyne Racing, Jacob Abel really struggled last weekend. If you're Jacob Abel, keep it clean, get more experience. There's not much more you can get out of you. You're going to probably be in that bottom 6, bottom 7 car. Just get experience, don't crash, do exactly what you did in St. Pete. If you're Rinus VeeKay, go for a top 10. Go for a top 15. He was really impressive last weekend in St. Pete, and I expect him to be there pretty much all year. On the verge of a top 10, top 15, just go for it, man. If you're VeeKay, you just got to go for it. Flat out, go for it. Humco's Hollinger Racing, if you're Stingray Rob, stay on the lead lap. I think that's a great goal for Stingray heading into this weekend. Stay on the lead lap. If you're Connor Daly, I think you go for the top 15 or just outside of that, kind of where he was last weekend. But, I think he was 16th last weekend, if I'm remembering correctly. I should have had these results written down. But he just needs to go for it. I think a top 15 result would be great. No one knows if it's the 76 or the 78, so that will be interesting to see what number he has on his car. But just getting in the top 15 is what Connor Daly needs to do. And then last but not least, Prema, just keep building experience. If you're Kyle Milot, keep leading that team forward, keep doing everything that team needs out of you. And if you're Robert Schwartzman, build experience. Right now, it's this year for Robert Schwartzman. I think is under the least amount of pressure. He's a rookie on a new team. It's about building experience and getting confidence in the car. But at the same time, he kind of reminds me a lot of an Oliver Askew, a very talented driver who was a rookie on a first year. Well, McLaren wasn't a first year team because they bought Sam Schmidt Motorsport, but it was a first year team. So it's not the same situation because Prema is completely new. But it kind of reminds me a lot of the Oliver Askew situation, where basically all you could do from him was ask him to just get experience in the car. And I think that's what they're going to probably do with Schwartzman this year, is just get experience out of the car and have Ilott lead. That's really where I'm at with this weekend, and that's how I'm feeling about every team and driver combination. Now let's get into my top 3 in qualifying, and then we'll get to my top 3 in the race. Qualifying, I don't even know. For some reason, I'm going to say an Alex Palou pole position, followed by a Colton Herta P2, and for fun, we'll say Scott McLaughlin P3. That's kind of what I'm feeling. We'll see. In the race, I am taking an Alex Palou win. I think he's going to start off with back-to-back wins just because he's him. I'm going to say Scott McLaughlin P2, and we'll go Colton Herta P3. I don't know how passy it's going to be. Honestly, I don't know if this is going to be a good race. There's a very good chance this is the worst race of the year. And honestly, if I'm a betting man, it's probably a bottom 3 race of the year. I'm excited for it. I love IndyCar racing. So it's every day there's an IndyCar race. It's the 17 best days of the year. This is probably 17th, honestly. But, we'll just have to see. I'm excited. Hopefully it's a good race. I remember last year heading into the final stretch, those last 5-6 races, and all of them were ovals but one. I was super excited, and then I saw Iowa, and I was like, all these races are going to suck. It's going to be single file. It wasn't. All those races were great. They were amazing. Maybe that's what Thermal Club is. Our expectations are so low. maybe Firestone cooked up something amazing with the tires, and it's going to be amazing. We'll just have to see. It's a new track. We don't really know how it's going to race. Hopefully it races well. With that being said, please subscribe and stay tuned for my weekend review at Thermal Club. See ya.